Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of To the Magic and Beyond. My name is Jordan, and I am here with Michelle.
Hello.
And producer Courtney is here with us, as well as producer Logan. Say hi.
Hey guys.
Hello.
And we are excited to be back with you guys for another week. This time we are going to be delving into what will hopefully be a helpful topic if you are thinking of planning a trip to either Disneyland or Disney World. One of the very first things that I feel like you've got to look at or decide what you want to do is staying on property at a Disney hotel or staying off property at either what's called a Good Neighbor Hotel or just totally off property.
Bad Neighbor Hotel.
Which isn't the same as Bad Neighborhood Hotel.
Right.
So you could stay there as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you do have options, a lot
Yeah.
of different options, and depending on location, there's pros and cons to both of it. There's really no wrong answer. It's going to be what fits your family, what fits your budget the best. So we thought we would just do an episode kind of breaking down the different pros and cons to both, and then that way maybe it'll help you guys deciding in your future vacation endeavors.
Yeah. I mean, and for goodness, probably the first 15-ish times that I went to Disney World, my family stayed offsite. And at that time, there weren't as many. I don't even think the All-Stars were that for the first
Yeah, those
five
came
of
along
those.
later.
Yeah, for the first five of those, we there were no All-Stars. And we stayed, I can remember staying on Erlo Bronson, I think is what it is. It's also called Highway, I think in 192 or something like that. Yeah, so there used to be a Ramada Inn. It was pink.
Oh.
Yeah, my kids loved it because they had an indoor pool and they had a glass elevator.
Oh, that's nice.
So you were in the pool watching, and then they had like poolside karaoke.
Oh, that's fun.
Did you tell them you were staying off-site at the Pink Castle or something?
No, and they didn't even care. They were just going, all they cared about was
Disney. So
they just cared they were going to Disney. So
did not
and
care.
at that time, Disney was the Magic Kingdom. Like that was it.
We didn't know about the other parts yet.
Yeah, we didn't tell them
only
there
went
was.
to Magic Kingdom.
Only Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, we didn't tell them there was anything else.
Smart.
Until we started watching commercials.
Yeah.
And then
We haven't
Disney on
been
the
there.
VHS tapes, they started putting commercials for these other parks. And my kids were like,
oh no.
there's Animal Kingdom. And I was like, oh, really? So, yeah, we actually went to Animal Kingdom, I think the second year it was open. And then, of course, it used to be MGM,
Yeah.
not Hollywood Studios.
It took me so long to unlearn MGM Studios.
Yeah.
Kind of like downtown Disney.
Yes,
Yes.
changing to
Disney
Disney
Springs.
Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which,
I'll still accidentally call it MGM if
Yeah.
I'm just quickly trying to bring it up.
but, so, I mean, and, of course, that was probably back when. I mean, it's been a long time ago. I mean, it was probably $100,
Yeah.
staying. But
Good old days.
yeah, the good old, and it might not even been $100. It might have been like $80
Yeah.
a night. Because I remember when the All-Stars opened, you could stay for $100. Mm-hmm. You could stay for $100 at those. But yeah, we didn't do that. They were also not back then. I was also back when you did not plan.
Right.
No one really.
It also
you just went.
Yeah, it didn't used to be as involved as it
Yeah,
is
you
now
just
as
showed
far
up.
as like planning and all of the components
Yeah.
to it. It was not as complicated.
That's when
Back
the
then.
most complicated was you had to have a plan for when you got into the park what you were going to do about the fast pass.
Yeah,
because
the
only certain
paper
rides,
fast pass.
paper fast pass,
So
and
you had to
only
go
a
up
couple
to.
rides, and you had so one person had to take all your family's tickets and speed walk straight over there to get it. Like I remember doing that for Toy Story Mania,
Oh,
the original. Before they added the 2 tracks, and at Magic Kingdom, I don't even remember what I mean, because there were more at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like Jungle Cruise used to
Almost
have
everything
one.
had one.
There was a lot of them that had one, but of course that was, you had to put everybody's ticket in, and then you had to get everybody's ticket back, and then you couldn't lose your ticket, because if you lost your ticket, then you were going to have to try to figure that out. That was a
really
bad
no
moment.
proof that
Because you have no proof you're even here, because
Yeah.
there were no finger scanners.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it was not a lot of planning, and so I think you could do that. And
A little simpler.
and now, I think depending upon pricing,
Yeah.
at World, I think that if you're looking at World, I think that you can stay cheaper, right? I think at Disneyland, you can most definitely stay cheaper.
Yeah,
At a good, near
World,
the
I feel
park.
like it depends on how far away you're wanting to stay.
Exactly.
Land, the Good Neighbor hotels for sure come into play a lot more with budget there. I think that's your biggest difference between the two. Is it's definitely not it depends on which location you're
Right,
going
and
to.
if you're on the West, and we'll go ahead and talk about the West Coast first, because I think it's a little bit less complicated of a
Yes,
choice there,
much,
right?
Much less complicated because first of all, you only have 3 Disney resorts there. It's
Yep.
not like Orlando where there's like 1,000.
Right,
not
right,
quite that many,
right.
but it
But
feels
still a
like
lot.
it in
Exactly.
comparison. Disneyland as a whole is a much smaller footprint, and so because of that, there's only the 3 Disney resorts, but then also any of your hotels that are around it are actually very close proximity. So a lot of your Good Neighbor hotels there are as close as the Disney resorts. Now there are some that you know
Yeah, a little further walk.
that further out,
Yeah.
or that you have to use a transportation to
Yeah.
get to. But it's much simpler to decide because also with there only being the 3 Disney resorts, there's not really a budget resort. Like you've got
Yeah.
the All-Stars at World, but Disneyland, all 3 of those are, I would say, probably about the deluxe level of a price point.
Yep.
Maybe moderate.
Maybe
at best.
moderate at best, depending on the time that you go, and if there's any deals going on.
But almost like moderate like Coronado Springs club level.
moderate plus, we'll call it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like,
And there
it's
are,
not-
I mean, there are times of the year where you can get good deals or
Sure.
they have promos running and different things, but more often than not, staying at a Good Neighbor hotel for Disneyland is probably going to cut your trip at least in half,
yeah. Well,
which is pretty significant if budget is super
Yeah.
important to you.
and I was just talking to someone last night who actually mentioned they had just they went fall break, right? And so this was their 4th trip to Disneyland, and I was like, well, did you love it? Like, I really liked it, I want to go back. He was like, yeah, we go to Disney World like you do, we go a lot. And he said, but Disneyland is my favorite, not the family's favorite, but it's my favorite. And I was like, okay. Well, I said, well, where'd you stay?
Yeah.
He was like, well,
This time.
this time, he said, previously we've stayed at Pixar Place and we've stayed at the Disneyland Resort. And he said, so when I priced it this time to go, he said it was going to cost us $9,000 for the week for hotel and tickets.
Yeah.
That does not include food, does not include airfare, because they did not drive. They did
Yeah.
not have 3 weeks to do their whole Disneyland trip. So
Yeah.
he said they stayed at Fairfield by
But they were
Marriott.
going fall break, so think peak time.
Exactly. Expensive.
But, yeah.
Yeah, expensive. Because everybody has fall break now.
Yep.
Like used to, fall break was like, because I'm old, we did not have fall break.
Oh, we
did
did
not
not
even
have
have
fall
spring
break
break
either.
We didn't even have spring break.
We had spring break and Christmas break, but
Okay.
there was no such thing as fall break for us either.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's a newer thing.
Newer thing. So, but yeah, so he was like, so for $3,500 for tickets and a hotel for
Yeah.
a week, and he said it was about a 15-minute walk. And I think the Fairfield is one of those,
Yeah,
like 4
it's-
or 5 that are really
Yeah,
close.
it's one of the closest ones that you.
so
can
they're
get
still
there
walking.
for sure.
They still didn't need transportation because
Yeah.
that's how land works.
You're just across the street.
Now
So, I
that,
mean-
now that could. There are a lot of things that go into the factor of the price at any given time.
yeah.
Because Jordan, you were just talking about a client that you have that's going in December.
Yeah,
And talk a little bit because the price difference there wasn't nearly as big as the one Michelle's talking about.
So
So it's not always going to be don't get sticker shock.
Yeah, I just had some clients that reached out super last minute. They want to go in December, so just a few weeks away. And now for them, it depended on the weekend. They had 2 weekends that they were looking at. And one, there must be something going on in the area because there was very limited availability and prices on everything was high. Now, the second weekend, which ended up being cheaper, they also ended up staying at the Fairfield, and it ended up being about $1,000 cheaper than staying at Pixar Place.
There you go.
So not as significant as like a third of the price.
And I think
like
you said
with
they were
yours.
staying for a long weekend.
Yes.
These folks stayed a week. So I think that
and it
also
depends,
plays in.
Yeah, it depends. Your group did the party. They're just doing a 2-day base
Yep.
ticket. So a lot of that plays in that your tickets more often than not are going to be one of the most expensive pieces of your trip. But yeah, I mean, it really just depends on when you're going. And sometimes it could be a significant difference, and sometimes it's about the same cost.
Yeah.
So might as well stay at the Disney Resort, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and I'm sure you guys will get to that when you get to World, but
Yeah.
but it's kind of safe to say that at Land,
Yeah.
it's more likely going to be cheaper at a Good Neighbor.
More often than not, if you're needing to do Land on a budget, those Good Neighbors hotels are going to be your best friend. And like we've said, some of them are still within walking distance and super convenient, but those are still going to be your more expensive
Correct.
resorts.
Of the Good Neighbor,
For
right.
instance, the Fairfield was about $1,000 cheaper than the Disney hotels, but they could have stayed 10-15 minutes of a drive away and saved another $1,000.
Yeah.
But then you've got to
and
drive or work
pay to
on
park.
transportation, pay to park. There is, for Disneyland, there is a Anaheim shuttle
Mm-hmm.
that runs between the different resorts, but it so there's a cost for it. It's not a free shuttle
Yeah.
in Land, and it's run by like the city of Anaheim. It's not Disney transportation
Well,
at
then
all.
you've got so then when you get into things like that, whether it's parking, which Land parking is no joke.
No.
People think Disney World parking's expensive. I'm not even going to say how much it is because it's really high. It just went up, I think, and that's no shade at Disney. I get it. You got to go up on the
Yeah.
prices. I'm not a hater because of it.
Can one of you
either
check
direction.
what the current rate is, just so we know?
Yeah. So I mean, it just went up. I want to say it's more than $40 to park. And so, yeah, but the thing is that if you stay off site, just playing devil's advocate, now I got to think about how I'm going to get there. But at Land, if you stay at one of those that you can walk, you're getting there the same way you're getting there from the Disney resorts because you got to walk from those two.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you 10, 15 minutes to get
Yeah.
to security. Anyway, if you're staying further than that, you can save the money, but now you've got the inconvenience of parking or catching a shuttle. And if you're catching a shuttle, that is not Disney transportation.
Yeah,
no magic included.
That's what I was gonna say. The one the riskier side with the transportation for Land is that it's not Disney organized transportation. It's just city transit, basically.
Yep.
Now it runs specifically to Disneyland, like that's its end
exactly.
goal. But the scheduling could go either way. I've read an article about it that said, it can take you 15-20 minutes to get there, and some days it can take you an hour depending on traffic. So you've really
And it's
got
Anaheim.
you really got to weigh that risk
Yeah,
when planning on getting to your park day. Like if you're trying to rope drop anything, if you are trying to take a break and go back in between, like your transportation for Disneyland, if you're staying at a further away Good Neighbor hotel, that might be a con to you. Or if you really just budget as your bottom line, you'll figure it out, right? That's
People do it all the
depends,
time.
but-
You go places and you have to drive to where you're going anyway. So a lot of people, and a lot of people just want a car. There are more people than you would think who not having their car with them. It's kind of like I went for a job interview one time to a place that was a skilled nursing facility. I'm a nurse by trade. So I went to this facility, and usually at all of those, they're locked for memory care so that people can't just wander away, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is the code is posted. Okay. So if you're, functioning
able. Yeah.
normally, you would just see the code and punch it, and you can escape anytime you want to. Well, the code was missing. And so I couldn't get out. I couldn't find anybody to find the code. I couldn't get out. Of course, I can't ask any of the people around me because they don't know the code
Yeah.
because we're trying to keep them in. And I was like, oh, I'm out. I can't work here. Like, I want to get out of wherever I am. So a lot of people have that about having a car
Needing to have a car.
and wanting it with them. They don't want to depend on Uber or Lyft or a taxi or a bus. They want to be able to just get in their car and leave when they want to. And if that's you, that's okay.
Yep.
Then it doesn't matter where you stay.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to have your car. Then it just becomes, how long do I want to be in the car before I
Right.
get there? What was
Right.
parking?
45
Okay.
standard, 60 preferred.
60 preferred.
Okay,
day.
the preferred, yeah.
Per day, though.
Per day, yep. So anytime you go back, I think you get in and out.
Oh, you get in and
privileges
out
with that, yeah.
privileges. You do. But still.
But per day,
yeah.
depending how many park days you're going, that could be a
Now-
significant cost.
You may not. When we were at Disneyland, we never really paid much attention to the parking lot. The comments Michelle was just making about if you want your own car there, that's fine. May be a little different at World, which we might get to. But as far as like the transportation just from Magic Kingdom out to the parking lot, like
Yeah.
But you
But that's
still.
a different- it's a different
We'll get to
animal
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
than
different.
land.
Yeah,
but I just
World
wanted
is
to point
totally
that out
different.
that even
Yeah.
there,
But even at
Yeah.
land, they had a tram. So like if
Yeah.
because we saw those out there. So like you look,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be Clark Griswold in
Yeah.
first at Wally World. So you're gonna have to ride the tram.
Yeah,
You know, for those of
right.
you that know who that is, my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie season, effective today. What's after Halloween? So Christmas Vacation, and all of that. But yeah, so you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
So
and
if you
I did it one time where we stayed, my cousin and I we were in California for a wedding. So we kind of stayed at a hotel that was more central location.
yeah.
because we had to go elsewhere in California. So we drove and we paid to park, but yeah, it's a big parking garage. You take a tram in, it's very well designed. It's Disney. They've got it figured out. But yeah, there's definitely those options. If you want to drive, you can take your own car, do that thing. But yeah, all of the Disneyland resorts are close enough that you're within walking distance. There's zero transportation involved. So maybe that's one of your pros for staying there. I think one of the interesting things that is typically a pro for Disney resorts, which is not going to be a pro coming up in 2026.
Oh yes.
Is you in the past for Disneyland resorts have gotten early entry if you are a Disney resort guest, which just means that you get 30 minutes extra time in the mornings at the parks, and you have to be a resort guest to get that privilege. And they are actually taking that away for 2026
At land.
at land, just
Only
for land.
land.
We'll get to world later. This
World
is just
folks don't
land.
panic.
Yeah, world folks are still fine, but Disneyland, they announced about a month ago that they're taking away the early entry, and maybe they just don't have as many people use it at land. I don't know, like maybe it wasn't worth this.
Well, and
the
land
process.
is such a community park. So so many folks are in the surrounding area there in Anna. It's a locals park. So it really gets busy in the evening for them. So 2-3 o'clock when kids are getting out of school or parents are out. Mornings are more chill. So maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe
But to me,
they're cutting back on having employees come in early and trying to do all that scheduling. I don't know, because they're still going to have to schedule because it's open longer than 8 hours.
to me as a travel agent though, like that was a kind of our one perk that would help clients kind of choose between that cheaper Good Neighbor and paying a little bit more
For land.
to stay at one of the Disney resorts. So I feel like in a way, Disney's given away a little bit of their leverage because there are some of those Good Neighbor resorts that are so close and sometimes significantly cheaper.
Let's not listen. I love
they're not helping their
both
case there.
Disneyland resorts have my heart. It was really, 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 really nice to stay there.
Yes.
But it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And we were very lucky in what we paid. So, and then, kind of switching gears, moving into World, that early entry thing, I'm still one of the people if I'm kind of butthurt about anything with Disney, I miss the 1 hour early entry.
It is only 30 minutes.
Because
now.
when they brought it back after COVID, it's 30 minutes. And it's
Yeah.
30 minutes at all of them.
At all 4 parks, though.
Whereas
yeah.
it used to be an hour.
specific-
Every day it was
yeah.
one park and it was an hour and you would go. And I get it. I'm supposed to be happy because it's 30 minutes. And I mean, it's 30 minutes and I do it because it's for me. But I still miss the hour.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have 30 minutes at each park than 1 hour designated to a specific park, because when it comes to planning your trip,
Could mess up your schedule.
if you really want to get that 1 hour early, you don't. That's the park you're going to that day. But
Right.
that might be the park that every resort guest is going to that day, so it may be more crowded.
Well, there are people though that won't want it, like it won't work for their, like for whatever reason they couldn't go
Right.
to Magic Kingdom today for.
What if that
early
was you though?
entry.
Then you couldn't use any early entry. At least you have 30 minutes every day, everywhere.
No.
Give me
still
30
miss the
minutes
hour.
every day rather than forcing me to.
I mean,
go.
I have it.
That's
They're forcing me to only have 30 minutes.
I feel like we need to do a whole separate episode on this and have a debate between
That's an
early entry
Logan and
episode.
Michelle.
Yeah, it was, but I think that let's lay the land out of what World looks like and staying
Yeah.
on property.
I think-
I think pros and cons for
Yeah.
World's going to be so
Yeah,
different.
I would
than
say
Land.
Disneyland to me is kind of cut and dry. Of you're either going to pay more and stay at Disney, or you're going to pay
Just
less
'cause you
and
wanna.
stay at a good neighbor. Yeah, just
Just
because you
'cause you
want to.
wanna.
There's really not many huge perks to that.
you want more. You want theming,
Disney theming.
Disney more.
Yeah.
The original stuff. So you're gonna stay there. If you want, a bigger resort feel like Disneyland Resort. Well, and Grand California, I felt like that as well. Pixar Place to me not as much, but it doesn't mean it's not nice. If you're not staying at the resort, why do you don't matter? It doesn't matter, right? You just really care about your room and the proximity.
Yeah.
And so I think that gets into at land what you're looking for. And then again, if budget is it, you're going to stay at a good
neighbor all the
neighbor
way.
every time.
Yep.
If there's a little bit more to it than that, you'll think about it like Disneyland Resort to me was so beautiful
Yeah.
and nice and had restaurant options. And it was the only one that had 2 gift shops. Pixar Place only has 1 gift shop.
Yeah.
And Grand Californian only had 1 gift shop. I still cannot believe it. But it had some other wonderful things. But yeah, so there'll be things that you'll think about. And then as we get into World, okay,
Drastically different in how you're going to process Disney
you could put
World.
a few Disneylands inside of Disney World.
Disney World is massive.
You can put a few of those in there. I mean, I'm sure somebody listening will know exactly how many. I just know you could put several. You could put several in there. And the hotels surrounding it are huge too.
Yes.
I mean, there's a ton, like
So
that
many
Orlando
resorts.
area.
It's its own, like, it's almost its own city, to be honest. Like, the amount of acreage that the Disney property encompasses is a lot.
Yeah.
And so therefore you have a ton of actual Disney resorts, which the pro with that is you've got a much wider range of price points. And then on top of that, you still have your typical good neighbor resorts, which are all your resorts that are going to be in proximity. And when we say good neighbor, like it'll be a Best Western or a Fairfield
Hilton.
or a Marriott or a Hilton, like, but they're good neighbors as in Disney has given them their stamp of approval to be partnered with them essentially. So you can have faith that they'll be a good hotel.
And they get early entry.
Yes,
The
there are
good
still
neighbors.
perks. And then with Orlando, though, you could go even further out and stay in a suburb of Orlando, still have about a 20 or 30 minute drive, but then you can get like really cheap. So you've kind of
And
got
stuck in traffic.
3 layers. Yeah.
Just saying.
You got 3 layers with World.
Yeah, because my brother, he's working now. His job, he lives near Tampa, and so during the week he has to travel to Orlando. So he goes over to Orlando on Sunday nights, and then on Thursday nights he drives home. Well, he's on the other side of Orlando versus Disney, right?
Yeah.
On his way home, and so I mean, traffic is
Yeah, I mean, or the city of Orlando,
Terrible.
you're not going to love it. So when I lived there, we lived in a town called Claremont, which is about 20 minutes outside of the Disney area. And now I have not lived there in, gosh, I don't want to do this math. 14 years, 13
Okay.
years, which seems so long.
Since you lived in Orlando.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I
That's
know.
what it is. It's just
That's
sadness.
a long time. So I don't know what the current commute from like Claremont would be, but there are a lot of hotels there. And for us, it consistently was about a 20 to 25
Yeah.
minute drive because there were back roads that you could
Yeah,
take if
exactly.
things got bogged down. So a lot of that for your further away hotels are really going to depend on where in Orlando you are. If you're in the city of Orlando, you're gonna have traffic. One of our very first visits that Logan and I did, we stayed with my friend who lived in it was an Orlando address, I think.
I don't know, but it took us about 40
But it
minutes. to
took
get
us
there.
about 40 minutes to get there because in the morning traffic,
Yeah.
you just couldn't avoid it. So the further out you get, just remember dealing with Orlando, it's really going to depend on where you stay,
Yeah.
on what that commute is going to look like.
Exactly.
But if budget is your thing,
Exactly.
you can go a little bit further out. There's a lot of nice outskirt towns that you can stay in.
And none of those, to your knowledge, would be classified as good neighbor.
No,
Those are even further out.
Yes, the Good Neighbor hotels are all going to be they're going to be on Disney property still.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all towns that are outside of
On Disney property, but not right at the parks, right? So they're there out by Springs. There's a bunch of them out there. There's a few in between
Yeah.
as you go through there, and they're going to have the early entry. So you'll have that, but you'll have to figure out how you're going to get there because they'll have buses that will take you. Most of those hotels you have to sign up. Like it's not a
Yes.
given. You have to sign up.
And every hotel is different. So
Yeah.
if you are staying at a Good Neighbor and you are relying on their transportation, not your own, you need
Check
to make
it
sure you
out.
check because sometimes they'll be like the bus runs 3 times that morning
Exactly.
and like 3 times that night. And you have to make sure you're on that bus if you want to do
And
it.
where they drop you off is going to be
Yes.
different. So you want to make sure you know, like where they drop you off might not be where they're picking you up. So you just want to make sure that you're doing that. It's not that it's bad. It's just
It's just
different.
a little more
Is that
complicated.
usually included or is it a cost?
It also depends on the
Depends.
hotel.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a surcharge and it all varies, and other times it's included. So it just depends on the hotel.
Same
Because if you're gonna
within-
if you're worried about missing it anyway, your only other option after that point is Uber,
Right.
taxi, and if you
Well-
got to pay anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and same with like those Good Neighbors. They may have a resort fee per
Yes.
night. And then parking in addition. Like
Yeah.
the resort fee doesn't necessarily cover
Include the
parking.
parking, yeah.
So make sure that you read the fine print of are they going to charge so that by the time you add all the fees, could you have
it-
just stayed
yeah.
at All Star Music? And then but the difference is though, just kudos to those other resorts. Like I stayed at the Hilton at Disney Springs
Disney
back in the
Springs.
spring, like March, and huge room. No doubt a deluxe accommodation. Like if you're talking in Disney terms, right?
Yeah.
Deluxe is top, moderate is the middle, and then there's the value, which is going to be your cheaper hotels, like just a regular hotel. And so it was beautiful. It was huge, and definitely cheaper than I probably could have stayed someplace else. But I would not say cheaper than I could have stayed at the All Stars. But I had to stay there for work, and my work is not paying for me to stay at the Disney resort. So if work is listening, I did not stay where I was not supposed to. But Hilton has a resort fee and a parking fee.
Yeah.
So then by the time you add all of that up, you just have to determine what you want. But those rooms are usually going to be like if you're looking at an all-star music or sports or movies, because those are all the same, that room is not going to be the same size as your room at the Hilton. Your room at the Hilton is going to be way bigger and fancier.
Yeah.
but if you're talking to people that maybe this is just me, if you're talking to people that are typically staying at Super 8 or Motel 6 or Quality Inn, the All Stars are nice. Like when we hear the word value and then we compare it to a Hilton, yeah, it might be a little smaller than a Hilton room, but to me, the All Stars are nice hotels.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's so many bad hotels out
A Disney hotel is still going to be like one of the
Listen.
nicest hotels you'll stay at.
Yes, and
Even if it's quote unquote
it
value.
has Mickey everywhere.
Yes.
And it's themed, and it's like, Disney threw up everywhere at the All Stars. So especially for small kids,
Yeah.
the pools they're gonna have at least one big themed pool that's gonna be great. There's gonna be food right there that's like for everybody.
Yeah.
So like everybody in your family is gonna want something and have something to eat. Whereas at the Hilton, maybe not if you've
Yeah.
got kids.
And
so
there are
Yeah,
some
food courts are good.
Yeah, there are some of the good neighbors that will still have like your continental breakfasts or things like that are included in your stay sometimes.
there's one that does all the meals. They do a break. Well, not all. They don't do lunch, but I can't think of the name of that hotel. It's a new theme. They're building them everywhere. But they do a breakfast and then they do like an early dinner. It's
that's
called
nice.
snacks.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like heavy hors d'oeuvre type snacks.
Yeah.
And they do that. And then for folks that, drink, which I do not, but some folks like that. Some places do that little drink hour where they can get a few of those drinks.
Yeah.
Most people that are going to Disney are going to Disney. And if that's you and you want to be at Disney and you want to do all the Disney things, then most of the time, the most convenient thing for you to do is going to be to stay on property.
Yeah.
And at World, you're so lucky because it's in every price range. And they're all nice, as producer Logan
Yeah.
was just talking about. Like, they're all
Yeah.
nice. I've
I
stayed at all levels, and they're all really nice, and they offer you something.
And I think these days, and again, it's going to differ every trip,
Correct.
your dates, all of your things. But I've noticed more often than not, especially if Disney's running a promo, that you can about stay at the All-Star resorts for about the same that most of those close good neighbors are going to charge.
Right.
Every once in a while, there could be a big enough cost difference that it's worth it to do a good neighbor. But to me, like you said, by the time you add up your parking fee, your resort fee, all of those things, I feel like 9 times out of 10, if budget is the concern, you're still going to be able to stay at the All-Stars for about the same as the good neighbors as far as like proximity. Now, again, you can go to those outskirt towns, stay somewhere $80-$90 a night, and you'll be fine there too.
Sure.
But if you want to stay close to the magic, have transportation to the parks, all this stuff, I feel like your All-Stars, for me, at least for Disney World, when I look at prices, your All-Stars come in right at the same level as a lot of the
But
good
then
neighbors.
let's step out of price. So we've established you can stay probably on Disney property at the lowest level for what you can stay at a moderate level of the good neighbor, right? Because you're not staying at the Four Seasons. Obviously, the Four Seasons is going to cost
some pretty
the
pricey.
Four Seasons. But then there's what you're looking for. So, there's Disney customer service. Look, I'm sure there's somebody listening who likes Disney okay. Maybe they're just one of our friends and they listen because they're our friend and they're not a homer for Disney
Shout
like we
out
are,
for
right?
listening, though.
That's it. Gina, this is for you, buddy.
Davis.
But here's the thing. When you go, you're treated like you're special.
Yeah.
You don't
They really
listen.
do.
I like to be special. They give me a button. They're very nice to me.
They're so nice.
They're nice, and they're even when
Draw
things
you a
are
map
going
to your room.
terrible. They're nice to give you a little map. If something goes wrong, they'll try to fix it. As long as you're kind, they're
Yeah.
gonna do their best to help you have a good trip.
Yeah.
And then Mickey waffles. Who doesn't need a Mickey waffle every day? Get a Mickey waffle every Disney Resort hotel every day. Every morning, if that's for you, you can do that.
Yeah.
But the customer service is seriously, it's top notch.
I think the transportation is one of the best parts, hands down, about the Disney World resorts because it's free. So that's huge. I guess you're paying for it at some point, but it's complimentary with your stay. And they've got those buses down
Yes.
to a
Only
science.
every now and then have
Yeah.
I been really upset about a whole bus schedule, and that's usually going to Disney, something like Disney Springs.
Yeah, the Springs are
the
a
Springs
little
buses
harder.
are a
Yeah.
little bit more. And if I've shopped till I've dropped at Springs,
Yeah,
I
you
really
don't wanna
want this
wait.
to be here. And where your bus stop is kind of what level you're staying at.
Truth.
So if I'm staying All Stars,
You have a longer walk to your bus
real far.
station.
but the buses, we've traveled this year twice, I guess, Courtney,
Yeah.
with people with little people, right? Little kids. And the buses are so convenient. Those strollers, they let you break your stroller down. I don't know that all the bus riders love all the strollers and wagons, but they help you. You know, you're getting those on. The bus is there. It's going to take you. You don't have to worry about directions and parking and then getting on a tram. And then one of the things that Logan brought up that I think is one of the most important things for you to understand when you're going to Disney World, if you stay off property and you are going to the Magic Kingdom and you drive your car,
Yeah.
you are not driving to the,
the
Magic
worst.
Kingdom. You're not going. You're not driving to
You've
the Magic
still got
Kingdom.
a 30
You
minute
get to ride
commute.
extra rides.
That's it, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. This is what they call a tram.
Yeah.
And then after you get off, when you get off the tram,
Yeah, Magic Kingdom, you park, you get on a parking lot tram because the parking lot
that
is
you had
massive.
to walk to a stop.
Yeah.
They're not
You-
just
yeah,
by
walk-
your car.
Walk from your car to where the tram stop is. You get on a tram. It's about a 5 to 10 minute drive, depending how far back you are.
Yep.
You get off the tram, and the tram brings you to what's called the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is still not Magic Kingdom. And so you get here, and you have two options of where you can go to get to the park, and you can either take the monorail or you can take a ferry boat across the giant lake. Both are going to have lines, especially early in the morning. Late at night when you're coming back, there's going to be lines for that parking lot tram.
Yep.
But anyways, you choose pick your poison, which one you're
We're
going
not
to do.
saying
and
it's
look,
bad. All we're saying
just
is
the
you're going to have to
process.
do
If
it.
you
I mean, I
thought-
lived there, and that was our only option. If you're a local, your only option is to do the parking lot. We had it
You
down
should have
to
drove to All Star. No, you can't get in.
no.
Okay. But if you thought that you didn't want to break down your wagon to get on the bus, or you didn't want to lug 4 bags on the bus, so you drove your car
Now
to
you're
Magic
doing
Kingdom.
it on 3
Now
different
you're
forms
doing
of
it.
transportation.
Yes, on a tram,
On the
and on a
tram.
ferry,
Yes.
and on like
Those trams are small.
you should have just done it on the bus.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fighting that
I mean,
stroller that you
unless you
rented
wanted to
that you
swim
don't really
across.
know how to operate.
Yeah, you've got an additional 20 minutes once you get to the Magic Kingdom parking lot. On average, I would say at least 30. But I'm saying like on a good day.
And I'm going to say if
Everything
you've got
going your
littles,
way.
I'm going to tell you it's an hour.
yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, if you've
We're
got
there
little
yet?
people,
Yeah.
Well,
this is, I
Yeah.
thought we were going.
we parked, but no, we're not there.
And
yet.
by
We're
the
not
way,
there.
your good neighbor buses drop you off at Ticket and Transportation
Correct.
Center as well. So you cut out the tram part, but you still have to take monorail or ferry boat in, and that's where you have to meet your good neighbor bus as well. So
Is that?
And
Go ahead.
those buses, like you said earlier, they have that hotel schedule.
Yep.
So they're going to tell you what time they are. It is not flexible. They are not waiting on you.
They don't
They
care.
don't know that you
They're not
needed
Disney.
that cotton candy back there.
Yeah.
You're just out of luck.
They
So
just
you're going to
leave.
have to call an Uber or a Lyft, which you're lucky they have those now.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to figure out where you're going to go catch those, which is also going to be at the Ticket and Transportation Center.
And again, if your only option is to stay somewhere because of a budget,
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
be fine. You'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
We're just giving you a heads up and why that the Disney transportation and the way it's designed is so well done, because especially Magic Kingdom is the best scenario of where
Yeah.
like that Disney transportation really gives you a leg up, because they drop you off. They skip everything and you are right at the
Yeah.
gate. Basically, you get off the bus, you go through security, and you go into the park.
Well, and here's the thing, and again, it's what you want, and there's no right or wrong. But a lot of times when people are planning their Disney vacation, a lot of times what people come back and complain about are all the things that if they had asked somebody or
Yeah.
done a little research
Had a
or
heads up
used
on.
a travel planner like Jordan, hit Jordan up, someone could tell you, And you're mad at Disney, but it wasn't Disney's fault.
Yeah.
Like, Disney is huge. They provide those buses, and like you said, yeah, you're paying. Nothing's free in this world. There's no free lunch, right? It's really not. Somebody's paying for that somewhere. But if you calculate, if we divided out the room, the buses, right, all that stuff, where they're dropping you, all that stuff, I guarantee you, your room is really only costing you probably what that $80-$90 room is out there at the values.
Yeah.
And you add all of those on, it's going to be better, right?
Yeah.
But the buses there at all of the types of resorts, moderates and deluxe and value, are all going to pick you up. There's going to be some coverage for rain. There's going to be TVs that set up with all those times.
Yep.
My Disney Experience also has the bus times on there, so you can keep up with them live. You can be half asleep at 6:30 in the morning when someone's dragging you to Animal Kingdom because the early entry starts at 7. And so you can be asleep on the bus,
Yeah.
and you can be asleep on the way back at
Yeah,
2 o'clock
a lot
in the
of people
morning. Yeah. So that's going to work out. And then each of those resorts have amenities, and the prices are going to go up. The room is going to get bigger with the step. I like to say that a big difference between value and moderate is that the pool will have a slide and the room will have a ceiling fan. And it will be bigger.
Ooh, and a hot tub.
Oh, and a hot tub.
At the
Yeah.
moderate.
Yeah. And so at the value resorts, you're getting one big themed pool and some small quiet pools. No hot tubs, no ceiling fans in the room. That's why you need a balloon. We can text about that or chat about that later, but you need a balloon in your room. And then they're going to be just a little bigger, but still have bus transportation. The bus stops are a little nicer. They may even have a ceiling fan. I think they do. I think the moderates have a ceiling fan at the bus stop, like right where you're waiting. And then the deluxe are even fancier. The deluxe is going to have not really a ceiling fan. They're fancier. I don't remember it, but they're bigger. They're gonna. Some of them have the monorail. Not all of the deluxe have the monorail,
And boats.
but they have boats and that kind of thing. And so they're going to be your top tier. And they have so any place on property has 30 minutes early entry every day at World. And the deluxe has something called extended
Yeah,
evening hours.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
more extended hours.
More extended hours, which does not mean all of Epcot is open. Sometimes you have to walk like really far because they close part of it off. I only know that because it happened.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'll just meander. Oh, no.
Can't go here.
No, that's cut off. That's
Yeah.
cut off. You got to walk all the way back around, and you can't go through the lake.
Cannot. As much as we really wish we could a lot of times.
Can't go through the lake. So, I mean, I think that all of that all together, I think you just have to look at what you want out of your trip and how much you want to be catered to and all of that.
Convenience of location versus being okay driving because budget is most important. Like there's so many aspects of it, but just we both feel have done both where plenty of times our families have stayed off site. We've stayed on site. We've done all of it. It really does feel worth it in this scenario to stay on site personally coming from both of us.
Right. So
But
if I'm on a tight budget,
Yeah.
I'm going to stay All Stars. Actually, here's the truth. I really like the All Stars.
Me too.
Like I really like
Their buses are great.
I like that Disney threw up
Bigger food court.
there. They have the big
bigger
food court, really good food there. That's the thing about the deluxes, and let me say that. Like your food court there is going to be
Smaller.
small because they have some sit down restaurants there that cost more. And so your variety at the food court's going to be less. So you just kind of have to weigh that. But like if you stay at Contemporary, you can walk to the Magic Kingdom. It's nice.
I just want to add something we've touched on. I know probably cost and location are the biggest pros and cons to this, but to me, as someone who never went to Disney as a kid, only went as an adult, the Disney theming that you get on site, to me, enhances the trip probably more than double. Like it makes it an experience.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first time we went, I had never been to Disney, and we stayed with your friend, and we drove in and out 40 minutes each way. We had a wonderful time. I loved the parks.
It was a great trip.
But I can look back on that and think we went on a vacation to go to theme parks. And we stayed off site, and it was great. It was fine. It was a wonderful trip. But then when we went back and stayed on site, it was like a getaway.
An
An
experience.
experience with the whole, even when you leave the park, you're still at Disney. Even when you go eat in the food court, even on your day off, even when you're on the bus, everything feels like
You're
a vacation.
still in that bubble.
Everything feels like a vacation. Of course, we got that at Disneyland because everything's so tight there. But for me, the Disney theming is a huge advantage to staying on site. It may not be worth the extra cost to you, but for me, the All-Stars are not that much extra cost to add that much more to your vacation.
Yeah.
Well, and you're not in Disney. They made a mistake. They realized it. They don't charge for parking now that you stay on site.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And you can drive if driving your car to the theme parks, even though you're staying on site, is for you. Well, great. You can do that, and Disney is going to let you do that, and they're not going to charge you to park.
If you're staying at a resort.
If you're staying at a Disney resort
you
on
don't
property.
have to pay also for theme park
Parking.
and your parking at your resort is free, which
But
is also great.
you still are going to have to park at the Ticket and Transportation Center. There's not a hotel parking in Magic Kingdom.
Same parking.
So you're going to have to do that. And then something that's real important that people who choose not to stay on site think is not fair, but those of us who stay on property think is most definitely fair, is booking dining
and
your lightning lanes.
Yep.
So tell us about that, Jordan, because you do it all the time.
Yeah. So if you're staying on site resort, you can book your dining 60 days in advance. Well, all dining opens up 60 days in advance, but the trick with the resort guests is that your dining for your entire stay will open up at that 60-day mark. So if you're staying for 7 days, you can then book all 7 days of your dining at that 60-day mark all in one shot. You're good to go. You get earlier access to all the days. Boom, you're done. If you stay at a Good Neighbor resort or just a totally off-site resort, you still can book your dining at 60 days, but it opens up 1 day at a time. So you have to get up. You're staying for 7 days. You have to get up 7 days in a row at 6 a.m. to book your dining for every day. So
It's terrible.
It's not as fun. And then with your lightning lanes, those are booked. If you're a resort guest, you can book those 7 days in advance of your trip. If you're a non-resort guest, it's 3 days, which you're like, oh, well, you still get to book 3 days in advance. But a lot of times those high ticket lightning lanes are gone.
Yeah.
By the
Or
time
at
you
least
get there.
any good times are gone.
Good times
Or
are
the
gone.
individual- and then like Tron.
The individual lightning lanes, sometimes those are just gone. And if they're gone, they're gone. Every once
That's
in a
a
while,
huge perk.
stuff will pop up. But the transportation and then your dining availability and your lightning lane availability are three of the biggest perks with staying on site. Because if you're going to pay all that money to go, make sure you get the dining reservation you want. Make sure if you're paying for a lightning lane, make sure that you're going to get.
Yeah. I want mine. I want it all.
Get a
right
good
now.
time. Get in there in the morning. Make sure there's availability because it's
point-
going to affect your experience a little bit
Because-
if you can't get those things.
And as someone who has been on a trip with some folks so we did a huge family trip in 2016, and more than half of us stayed on property, and the small portion stayed off property because they had a timeshare.
Yep.
They were on Disney property, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Good Neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't
So
a
they
Disney
did not have
related.
early entry.
Yeah.
And they couldn't
couldn't
book back
their
then. They
fast
couldn't.
passes at the same time.
Yeah, back then it was fast
Oh.
pass, and
Yeah.
they couldn't book when we did. So it was very difficult to match them up, kind of like what you're talking about, Logan. And then dining reservations. So like I could book dining for our whole party, which was very helpful.
Yes, that does help.
You know, because they were not staying with us over there, but then trying to match everything up. So just be careful with that. But, you know, I talk about Disney all the time as an experience. It is not a theme park. If you're looking for a theme park, go to Dollywood.
Or
Shout
Busch
out,
Gardens.
shout out Dollywood. Great theme park. Go to Holiday
Universal.
World. Universal.
They're a little
No, I think
more of the
Universal,
experience now.
Even for
Well, I'm
Michelle
saying if
Ray,
you're just looking for a theme park, you can also still go to Magic Kingdom. It's still a theme park.
True.
you could. But
You're
I'm
talking
just
about the
saying-
whole experience.
Yeah, I'm saying
Right.
if you're looking for an experience, Disney provides one better than anyone else in the world. If you're looking, like I said, if you're just trying to do something as cheap as you can, you're just looking for a theme park experience, you can stay off site.
Yep, and
you
you'll
can
be
stay with
fine.
a friend. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want,
Yeah,
and it's going to
that's-
be fine.
That's what I was going to say. At this point, when it comes to World, if you're not staying for free with a friend, I think you got to stay on site. Like you're still going to pay for a hotel, and you're going to pay to commute in and out. All
yeah,
stars
because
are not
toll
that
roads.
expensive. All stars are not that expensive.
That's
So-
the other thing.
Oh,
Florida
toll
has a
roads,
bunch
yeah.
of toll roads, so
Yes,
you will
they
pay
do.
tolls.
So unless you're
to
staying
get
for
there.
free somewhere, I don't see the. I don't see
Producer
the point.
Courtney knows when we take her car, we get the bill in the mail later. Because most of the time when I'm driving, and I am driving at that point, I forget
just
to
go
go through
through
the
the-
lane. I just go through
Well,
and we get billed later.
Half of them now have those lanes blocked off, and you
Yeah.
have to do the license plate
Yeah.
thing now.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, I think you know you do you. Don't
Yeah.
think that we're saying if you're somebody that goes and you're like, look, I want to go to Disney every year, and the only way I can do it is to stay at the Hampton Inn. Then stay at the
That's
Hampton
okay,
Inn
yeah.
and have a great time.
Yep.
And you know, we may have some tips and tricks that could help you do that as good as you could,
Yeah.
right? Like make that the best trip you've ever had, and you can definitely do that.
absolutely.
But I think that if you're fair and you're the person staying at the Hampton Inn, as Logan stated, I think if you look and you pick your times right, I think you can most definitely do it and stay on property, enjoy all of those perks, enjoy the experience, and end up coming out on top
about the same, yeah.
or about the same.
Yeah.
Could be better depending on the time. Now, look, if you're wanting to go at Christmas, I mean,
yeah,
I'm
it's just gonna be
sorry.
expensive.
Just get your wallet and open it up. I know, because I've been at Christmas more than once. And same thing with fall break. Fall break's going to be higher.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's
Any school break is sorry, it's going to be higher.
yeah. So I mean, you do you, but I think that all those things are big.
yeah.
I want to ask everyone to participate. I have a question for us before we close out. How many Disneylands do you think can fit
he looked
in
it up.
Disney
I
World?
looked it up.
Ooh.
What is everyone's guess on how many Disneylands can fit in Disney World?
Wait a
All
minute.
property included. Like
Okay,
like
the
their
whole
property.
thing:
Yeah.
California Adventure, Disneyland,
Yeah.
the hotels,
Disneyland
the exact
Resort
property.
versus Disney World Resorts.
Courtney.
I'm not going first.
I'm going to say 5.
Courtney,
Why do I gotta go next?
why can't you go next?
7.
Michelle.
6 is what I thought earlier, so I'll go 6.
5, 6, and 7.
It's
huh?
probably a lot higher, isn't it?
Probably higher.
All right, y'all hold your jaw real quick. It is based on a couple of searches. It is 50.
Wow.
Disneyland is roughly 500 acres.
Holy
Disney World is somewhere around 27,000, give or take,
Good grief.
depending on where you look.
So
So,
some of
somewhere
it's
between 50 to 60.
because there's so much undeveloped
undeveloped
land.
land.
Yeah, makes sense. But I mean, where was it? We were talking about. You could take Was it Animal Kingdom that we were told that time that you can pick up and put inside of Coronado?
Which
they
part
said
was
Magic.
Magic.
I think Magic Kingdom
I think that was
could
Magic
be
Kingdom.
put in.
Inside
The
of
Coronado
the Coronado
Resort.
Resort.
So
by
that's like a
itself.
whole other theme park.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
50
50.
Disneylands,
Wow.
give or take, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I guess technically Courtney was the closest.
She wins! Yay!
If it was Price is Right, she would be there.
There you go.
Just wanted to make sure we got that in there before
You
we
won
closed
the
out.
showcase, which here means
You're
you
going
won
to
nothing.
Disney.
Hey, we're going to Disney
On property.
on property.
I don't think I could ever go back and not stay on property though.
So real quick, funny joke. Had a bunch of points a couple years ago from I was traveled for work so much that I was trying to stay places just to use my points. And I was like, well, we'll go because this will be like our hotel's free. Like we're not even going to be paying. So we'll just go and we'll stay here and it'll be okay. It'll be fine. And I kept saying that and I kept each week got closer and I kept going, it'll be okay. I can do it. I can stay there. It's it's free. And then I went, I can't take it. And I booked. Where did we stay? Movies? No.
Sounds like
Wasn't
a
it
French Quarter trip.
No, it wasn't French Quarter. Was it Port Orleans though?
Shannon was with us.
Oh no.
I think that was All Star Music.
Was it
maybe.
music or was it pop?
May have stayed at. It was Pop.
Was it
We
pop?
stayed at Pop. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And so for those of you that listen all the time, they go, she has a problem. Yeah, I probably do. My husband would agree with you.
So
I
join
do.
us next time. I have a problem.
I have a problem. That'll be the
Step
next
one is
episode.
admitting it.
And I'm going to keep enjoying it because
That'll be
I
our
like this problem.
Sub podcast every week. My name's Michelle, and I have a problem.
I have a problem with Disney.
Well, perfect. I feel like that's a good note to end on. Hopefully, you guys learned some information about on-site, off-site. Again, what fits your trip. It's all good.
No judgment.
We're just saying personally what we've experienced and what we prefer, but you may not want to be in a Disney bubble and want to break from it, and that's fine. So you do you. Hope Michelle doesn't know what that's like. But hopefully you guys learned some valuable information so you can make your own decision. And that's all we've got for you today. So we'll see you guys next time on To the Magic and Beyond.